It starts quietly. No one notices at first. You're 7 years old, staring into the eyes of a parent who is falling apart. Maybe it's addiction, maybe it's anger, or maybe it's just the hollow silence of someone too broken to show up. Without a single word spoken, something ancient clicks in your small mind. If I don't hold everything together, no one will. This is how a child disappears, not physically, but psychologically. They smile more, they cry less, they learn to meticulously read the room before they speak, quietly becoming the emotional thermostat of the entire household. This diagram illustrates a dynamic that psychologists call parentification. Parentification is a role reversal, where a child is forced to act as the emotional or practical parent to their own caregivers. The tragedy is how the outside world reacts. Society looks at this trauma response and offers high praise. You are told you are so mature. You are told you are so responsible and so strong. But no one stops to ask about the cost. That highly praised independence is actually an invisible grief, masking a person who became a small adult long before their brain was ready to carry that kind of weight. A child will do absolutely anything to maintain attachment to their caregivers, even abandon themselves. This choice is never conscious. It is a biological imperative to sacrifice authenticity for belonging when safety is completely absent. This represents the constant scanning in a traumatized child, creating hypervigilance. Because this is normalized early, chaos becomes your baseline. When the room gets quiet, the internal radar doesn't stop. Stillness feels wrong, and peace feels highly suspicious. Operating on this baseline, you learn to walk on eggshells within a strict emotional economy. You realize that love is not freely given. It is a transaction. You give them peace, and in exchange, they might give you safety. The governing law is simple. Your own needs are dangerous, and their needs are urgent. Outwardly, you grow into a version of yourself that performs flawlessly. You become the quiet achiever, the reliable friend, the one who never asks. But beneath that flawless mask, the buried inner child remains trapped, screaming silently for someone, anyone, to finally protect them. The exact biological and emotional adaptations that saved you as a child are the very patterns slowly destroying you as an adult. As you grow older, these survival mechanics manifest in complex symptoms. You develop hyper-independence. You rigidly refuse help, push people away, and never let yourself feel completely safe in love, terrified of ever becoming a burden. During moments of genuine happiness, you might feel entirely numb. When your baseline is pure survival, joy feels unfamiliar, unearned, and potentially dangerous. You end up as the permanent therapist in all your friendships. You overfunction in your relationships, constantly fixing and managing everyone else's emotions, struggling to set boundaries, and wondering why you feel so deeply resentful. Maintaining this mask is exhausting. You become the kind of person who apologizes for crying and flinches at compliments. You struggle to rest because you confuse burnout with success. To tolerate this reality, you gaslight yourself. You rationalize the exhaustion with thoughts like, "It wasn't that bad. Other people had it worse. I turned out fine." But fine is just another mask. These behaviors are not permanent personality traits. These are conditioned, entirely unlearnable coping strategies, a high-functioning adult facade that is completely puppeted by a deeply neglected inner child. The first step to healing is not trying to fix yourself. No one is coming to rescue the child you buried. You are the one who must go back, hold their hand, and simply witness what happened. You have to validate that they were just a child, and they didn't deserve that burden. Psychologists call this process shadow work. Shadow work is a therapeutic practice introduced by Carl Jung that involves exploring and integrating the hidden, repressed, or ashamed parts of your subconscious mind. It means turning toward the abandoned parts of yourself instead of bypassing the pain with fake positivity. This process is brutal. It asks you to sit with the deferred grief, the sorrow, and the rage. It requires you to mourn the innocence you lost while protecting the people who should have protected you. One of the most effective actions you can take is to ask your inner child, "What did I need back then that I never got?" You might hear that they needed someone to tell them it wasn't their fault. You might hear they just needed the permission to play, rest, and laugh without fear. When you slowly begin to give those things to yourself, you stop reliving the past. You stop seeking parents in your romantic partners, and you stop mistaking your trauma-induced anxiety for intuition. There will be days when you feel like a helpless child again. That regression is exactly the point. It is the biological proof that the frozen trauma inside you is finally thawing. Your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. But now you do. You can drop the mask. You can choose softness. You never truly had a childhood, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to write it.